Josephfares is a pretty bold dude.
Really, like a great experience.
yeah.
Like if you want to have a good sex, do you time it? Like, oh,
He and his team at Hazelight have been making these unique co-op experiences for a while now, to great success. While not initially co-op, Fares' first game, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, was impressive at the time for telling a unique story and allowing you to control two characters at once to solve puzzles. 5 years later, A Way Out impressed with its dynamic story and lovable characters, while providing consistently entertaining gameplay. It Takes Two took the engaging gameplay of A Way Out to a whole new level by consistently evolving gameplay scenarios so that you're never doing the same thing twice. This, while telling a heartfelt story about love and family, made a huge hit, winning big at the Game Awards in 2021. All this to say, each of Joseph Fares' games tend to build upon one another, taking what works, amplifying it, and improving upon what didn't, while also making sure each game is unique to itself. Fares and his team have been incredibly ambitious, and they've been on a string of home runs. I'm not gonna lie though, when I saw the initial trailer for Split Fiction, I was whelmed. While I thoroughly enjoyed It Takes Two, it seemed Hazelight may have been resting on their laurels, making a very similar looking game without much new being added to the formula. Boy, am I glad to be wrong. Split Fiction is not only an improvement over It Takes Two's gameplay scenarios, but a much better and complete story as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Alright, let's get to it. Split Fiction is a co-op action-adventure game where you play as Mio and Zoe, both struggling writers who get their big break when the aptly named Raider Publishing offers them a deal to publish their work. After arriving at the office, things quickly go awry when the CEO tells them to enter a simulation device that makes them act out the stories in their minds. Mio declines, but is forced into the same machine as Zoe, which creates a glitch in the system. Now the duo have to play through each of their stories, Zoe's being fantasy and Mio's being sci-fi, in order to break free from the machine and prevent their evil Raider Publishing from stealing everyone's ideas. Now in the very beginning of this game, the characters are pretty annoying. Mio is abrasive, constantly whining about wanting to get out of the simulation and snipping at any attempts at friendliness from Zoe. Zoe on the other hand is overly friendly, making horrible puns while complaining about the violence in Mio's stories. Fortunately, the duo does grow on you as they open up to each other. Raider, the main bad guy and creator of the simulation machine, represents the current struggle between artists and corporations' rising interest in AI technology. Raider thinks he's improving the creative process by absorbing creativity from writers so his machine can replicate them faster without all the hassle of the humans getting in the way, but in reality he's just corrupting it by stealing from those who can create naturally. Creative endeavors are more than just entertainment to be consumed. Art can be very personal and reflective of an artist's experiences or worldview. All of that is stripped away when it's boiled down into a machine. It's soulless, and that's perfectly illustrated in the game's narrative. Each story that you play through is inspired by the character's struggles and experiences. Throughout their lives, Zoe and Mio have used writing as a way to cope with their troubles. By playing through each of these stories, they're forced to revisit painful memories and work together to come to grips with their unresolved trauma. While the start is a little ham-fisted and predictable, the vocal performances and themes come together to make this a sincere and heartfelt story about loss and forgiveness. Much as I enjoy the story, where the game is at its best is the moment-to-moment gameplay. It's an action platformer, so you'll be double jumping, air dashing, and grapple hooking your way through the game. However, every level introduces a new mechanic for each player to take advantage of, whether it be for combat or platforming. The game is constantly evolving. In one of Mio's stories, you could get the ability to shift gravity or ride on a speeder bike. In one of Zoe's, you could turn into a giant yeti or ride a baby dragon. The mechanics evolve as you progress the level too. For instance, in Zoe's dragon story, you get one egg for each player. They're used to activate doors. Once they hatch, Mio's baby dragon can glide, and Zoe's can roll around like he's Sonic or something, helping you move quickly and make further jumps. Eventually they grow up, and Mio's dragon gains an acidic breath that melts metal, and Zoe's is able to crash through walls and rocks. These abilities are fun individually, but when players are able to use them in conjunction with each other, the game gets even better. Keeping with the dragon level, both players have to work in tandem to beat a boss. You have to use Zoe's dragon to smash the exposed parts of the boss, but this can only be done after melting its armor off with Mio's dragon. Mio's dragon also has to clear away the boss's metallic minions to give Zoe a clear shot at the boss. I think the key difference between Split Fiction and It Takes Two is the deliberate pacing. In It Takes Two, you played as children's dolls, and the game's toy box level design reflected that. You could interact with your environment and play mini games just for the fun of it, which is great. And Split Fiction still provides some distractions with its side stories, which I'll get to in a bit. But as you progress each level in Split Fiction, things are often moving at a fast pace, or building tension to the next big set piece. so there's less room for messing around in the world. This makes the game feel more focused, so abilities never got old switching up right when they needed to. Puzzles are also intuitive. I'm notoriously pretty bad at puzzles, but my friend and I would often solve them without communicating because you're given ample time with each mechanic to know what you'll need to do next. This keeps the player in a flow state where you're always moving forward. Whenever you do decide to stop and smell the roses for a bit, you can come across side stories. These were some of my favorite parts of the game. Typically, they're a much more streamlined experience that focuses on a specific objective. In one, you'll be in a race against time to stop a sun from going supernova while shielding yourself from solar flares. In another, you'll be playing as a pig farting your way through a farm. They're fun diversions with an impressive amount of variety mechanically and visually too. Each story and side story is clearly inspired by different media properties like Dune, God of War, Lord of the Rings, and even Interstellar. Speaking of which, this game has a lot of references to video games sprinkled throughout. You can sit at a bonfire or even take a leap of faith. I'll leave the rest for you to discover yourself though. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Splitfiction. I came in with minimal expectations and was blown away by the strong narrative and had a blast playing through each expertly designed level, especially the final one. It does things I've never seen before in a co-op game. The cherry on top is that you only need one copy to play the game online. If your friend doesn't have it, they can download the trial version and play through the whole game with you for free. In a time where AAA developers are constantly trying to nickel and dime you, it's refreshing to see such a pro-consumer policy from Hazelight. If you haven't played it yet, give Splitfiction a shot. If you have, what'd you think? Let me know in the comments. Till then, sleep tight everybody. I know I will.